This is Chris the Nightmare Ariola, and you're watching Mr. Boxing Today on YouTube.
Heavyweight boxing fans, what's the deal? So, Ray Edwards, 11-0, 7 knockouts, 1 draw, heavyweight prospect. I've done a video on him. Earlier this year, I did a video on him. If you want to see that video, go to my playlist and then go to the heavyweight prospects. And you'll see the video that I did on him. 6'5", 260 pounds, built like a brick house. He's built like Anthony Joshua. He's very muscular. Former NFL football player, played for the Minnesota Vikings. I actually seen Ray in the gym. This had to have been, I want to say, the summer of 2010. He was doing mitt work with another prospect, Aaron Green. Aaron Green, I believe, is like 16-1 right now. He had the one loss, the setback against the old veteran Damon Reed. But he was working with Aaron Green's trainer at the time in the Uppercut Gym in Northeast Minneapolis. When I first saw him, I know he was a Vikings player, but a lot of athletes like to go to these gyms and just stay in shape, during the off season. So that's what I took it as. I seen he was a big muscular dude in the gym. And in that gym, me, Aaron, and a few other guys, around 6'4", 6'5". So when I saw him, he kind of stood out, man, because of his physique and everything like that. So, he was hitting the mitts. I really didn't see nothing special, just a huge guy. Just the fluidity of a fighter, he just didn't have it at that point in time. And that's something that you gain that by experience and just working in the gym, doing mitt work, hitting the bag, just to get yourself more fluid and more accustomed to throwing punches and moving your feet and, having defense all at the same time. So when I first saw him, nothing special, just besides his, just height and his muscular build, I didn't really see anything special. And then he had his first pro fight, I believe, a year after that. Okay. So he is back in action and he will be fighting the September 15th. So in about a week or so here, he'll be fighting. And he will be fighting Dan Pasciolla. I believe I'm pronouncing his name right. He is 8 wins, 1 loss, and 1 draw. The thing about Daniel is with his 8 wins, he has no knockouts. So he is accustomed to going the distance. He's a southpaw. I watched a few fights with him on YouTube a few minutes ago, and I was watching him. Just seems like a tricky type of style. He likes, he wants to land his right hand. He'll fight you from the outside, try to make you miss and counter. That type of fighter. Doesn't really have a high work rate, but he just likes to catch you and counter you, tie you up on the inside. Just some veteran type things, even though he's not a guy that has a lot of fights. But that's what I saw when I was breaking his style down. I expect Ray Edwards to win this fight. Obviously, he's going to be more physically imposing, so maybe he's going to have to use his size. Then I watched a few more fights of his. He had a fight against a guy named Steven Tyner, and it was a 2nd round knockout, and that was last month. So this is going to be his 2nd fight this year. And then he has another fight September 24th, and that fight is to be announced. His opponent is to be announced, so he doesn't have an opponent set. I guess they want to see what happens with this fight with Dan Pasciolla, and then after that he's going to fight 9 days after that. So I guess we'll see what happens in this fight. Ray Edwards, I expect him to win this fight, man. He just seems, as his fights go on, he's starting to look more fluid, throwing his punches. His defense starting to look a little bit tighter, a little bit better. But I really haven't seen him get cracked with anything or seen him in trouble or really fight off his back foot. He's a downhill fighter, meaning that he likes to walk you down, put power shots together, and try to get you out of there. I would like to see him try to work his jab, try to win some rounds just using your jab. Has a long reach, big, strong, tall fighter. He looks a lot better than he did in the first few fights. The fights against Tyrone Gibson and Corey Briggs and Nick Capes. It was one of those fights, one of his first few fights where the stoppage looked very suspect. And nothing against Ray Edwards. I have nothing against him. But the opponent he was fighting just laid the fuck down. He just laid down. Literally laid down. It looked very suspect, man. So I don't rate Ray Edwards up there with guys like Cassius Chaney or Nick Asbury or LaRon Mitchell, Adam Konaski. I don't rate him as high as some of the other prospects that are around right now. Guys like Nick Webb or Nathan Gorman, some of the UK guys. I don't rate him that high, man. You know, so he's going to have to prove me wrong as far as getting better and taking more fights. And he possibly could, you know, just because I don't rate him high, it doesn't mean that he can't accomplish anything. You know, so natural athlete, you know, as far as, you know, being an athletic guy, you know, he looks the part, man. He looks the part, but being a big guy like that, I like to see him work that jab, work some combinations, be able to fight off your back foot a little bit. You can still get the knockout fighting off your back foot. I just seen Nathan Gorman had a fight against Tomas Mrazek. I looked at that fight earlier today, and Gorman was setting Mrazek up with a jab, and then he was waiting for Mrazek to try to counter the jab, went on the back foot, and then started throwing combinations that was hurting Mrazek to the body. Now, Edwards is a totally different fighter. That's what I mean by the fluidity and being able to let your hands go when you're coming forward, when you're or when you're going backwards. You know what I mean? So Ray will get more experience, you know, but I'm glad that he has a fight already scheduled 9 days after this fight, because I expect him to get rid of this guy and get him out of there. So he just needs more fights, more sparring, you know, and we'll see where he goes from there, man. But I'm just getting this out there, being that I cover the heavyweight division. Just want to get it out there that Ray Edwards, former Minnesota Viking, I'm not sure who else he played for, but when I seen him in the gym in the summer 2010, he was with the Vikings. So just getting it out there, man. He will be in action. He has 2 fights coming up in the next few weeks. So let me know what you think, man. I'm out.